Welcome to Hawk Talk, your show on all things UMES Athletics. My name is Jordan Conway, and I will be one of your hosts for today. On today's show, we will recap UMES men's and women's basketball over the last 2 weeks, preview the upcoming softball and baseball seasons, and give updates on the track and field and bowling. I am joined for the first segment by RJ Tull to talk a little bit about Hawk women's basketball.
That's right, Jordan. I am excited to talk about the Hawks, who have won 2 of their last 3 games.
Let's start by talking about the Hawks' big rivalry win over Delaware State on January 25th.
Well, Jordan, the Hawks are off to a quick start. After Brianna Barnes scored in the first 12 seconds of the game, UMES would go on to score 9 points before the Hornets could even score once.
The Hawks continued that dominance for the first quarter, racing to the 23-6 lead.
Delaware State had no chance to make a comeback as the Hawks soared to a 66-46 win over the Hornets.
What a strong performance by Maryland Eastern Shore at home. I have no doubts that many players on the team had a fantastic game.
You are right about that, Jordan. Brianna Barnes scored 14 points while Mahogany Lester put up 11. On top of that, one of the biggest highlights of the game was Zamara Haynes, who not only led the Hawks with 17 points, but also scored her 1,000th career point on a three-pointer.
After scoring her 1,000th point, the graduate student grad was recognized at Heights Arena during the media timeout.
After the game, reporter Josh Williams caught up with Zamara Haynes for her thoughts after the victory and the milestone. Let's check it out.
The Hawks beat the Hornets 66-46. I'm here with Zamara Haynes. How did the Hawks get it done this afternoon?
Sticking to our plan, taking care of the ball and playing team basketball, making sure that everybody get a touch, making sure everybody get a shot. It's imperative that we stay together in the beginning because we start off kind of rough throughout the season sometimes. So it's like just making sure we stick to our plans and sticking together and trusting each other. I feel like that's what really got the game and to go our way.
And you amassed 1,000 career points this game. What does this accomplishment mean to you and your family?
Well, I wasn't able to do it in high school, so to be able to do it at this level, I know my family proud of me. I'm glad that I was able to show my little sister who played basketball that it's possible, and it just means a lot. It's exciting. I can't wait to celebrate.
And then now sitting at 2-2 in MEAC play, what does this win mean for the team moving forward?
We try not to pay that any attention, but we know that we carry it out a lot. So to stick together and make sure that as long as we're together when we're facing adversity or when things are even going good, as long as we stick together, we feel like we got a chance to do anything.
And the next matchup is Morgan State on February 1st. What has been the message Coach Willis has preached as we begin to get into the thick of conference play?
Taking care of the basketball. All our previous games, I feel like that was a point of emphasis going into the game. And trusting each other as a team, not to deviate from our plans and stuff like that. So just sticking to our plan and staying focused when we're working on certain stuff in practice and working on other team sets and stuff like that. I feel like that's our main thing. Keep the main thing, as Jalen Hurts would say. Go Birds.
All right.
It is clear that milestone meant a lot to Haynes. It's also clear who the Philly native is going to be rooting for in the Super Bowl.
After the win over the Hornets, the Hawks went on to defeat Morgan State 77-59 before falling to Coppin State.
The Hawks now sit at 3-3 in conference and have an opportunity to move up the standings as they face Howard twice, as well as Norfolk State for the February 10th to February 7th.
Although the road will be challenging, I am sure Coach Willis' squad will be up to the task.
For more information on Hawk women's basketball, make sure to visit UMESHawksports.com and follow UMES Women's Hoops on Twitter and Instagram for updates on all things Hawks women basketball. This brings us to an end in our first segment. When we come back, we will have a special preview of the UMES softball season.
Be part of a family that celebrates you for who you are. At a top 10 public HBCU, with affordable high-level education. We're holding open the door at University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk Previews. I'm your host, Sedric Granger, and we are excited for what's ahead. January has now become February here in Princess Anne, and that means it's time for the UMES softball team to return to the diamond. So with the season coming up, it's a great time to hear from UMES softball coach Aaron Robinson and preseason All-MEAC outfielder Jaycee Holt. Welcome to the show. How are you both doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing very well, very well. Excited to talk a little bit about Hawks softball coming up this year. The season getting ready to start here in this month of February, so it's absolutely exciting, and I think it's a perfect time to take some opportunity here to go and talk a little bit about the season. So I'll start with two questions for you, Coach Robinson. Let's start with the team culture. You have a lot of newcomers coming in, mixed in with some returning players. So how would you describe the culture of the team going into this season?
Well, our culture this year and then moving forward is going to be based on accountability and ownership. I really want our student athletes to understand they have a great opportunity to seize the moment, to go get what they want, work as hard as they can to see the results on the field. We definitely want to continue to push that. Communication is one of our biggest staples, communication, owning what you're doing, and making sure that they're making the most of the experience.
Yeah, making the most of the experience is huge, of course, for all of our UMES student athletes. They want to be able to make the most of the 4 years or even 5 years that they get to have with the program under your tutelage, Coach. Speaking of program and new coaches that are being able to come out here, and we have Coach Savannah Smith as well as Janelle Higgins that have been added to the staff. Could you talk a little bit about how you found them and what their impact has been?
Definitely. Great additions, hardworking coaches definitely are very invested in making sure we get exactly what we want. We work hard, we push each other, we sharpen each other and sharpen our student athletes. And I actually was extremely lucky with finding both of them. Coach Higgins is coming from 20 years as being a community college coach, very passionate, and her and I specialize in a lot of the same things, so definitely a lot of sharpening there. Coach Savannah was an all-conference pitcher at her university in Arizona and has over 512 innings, 400 strikeouts, and definitely is making sure she leaves her mark on the program and pushes our pitchers into the next level.
See, that's sensational to have two great additions to the coaching staff going into this year, and it makes an impact on the players. And speaking of the players, we have Jaycee Holt with us, who led the entire Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in stolen bases last season. So talk to me a little bit, Jaycee, about what that achievement meant to you.
It definitely meant a lot to me. Growing up in the South, there's a lot of amazing competition, so you have to find something that makes you stand out, and for me, that was my speed. I had a coach tell me that you can't coach speed, so just let me run. He never really told me what to do, so I just ran as I wanted, and I quickly gained a lot of base knowledge and learned a lot from that, and that's what got me here today.
Yeah, and how are you going to build on that going into your junior year this season and being able to try to keep that pace?
Well, me and Coach Robinson have a goal, so hopefully we'll meet that goal of stolen bases this year and grow on that. So.
And then you talked about growing up down south, Jaycee, and one of the cool things about the schedule this year is that the schedule starts down south, as there's going to be competition in South Carolina, Mississippi, and Georgia. And you were even talking to me about how your parents are going to be able to go and be there at the game, which is exciting. But that really brings about some really good competition, of course, with the other HBCU schools, also Southern Miss as well. So what does it mean to you to be able to have these challenging opponents and challenging competition on the schedule?
So last season we quickly learned that the South has a lot of great competition when playing North Alabama and in Georgia again. So we definitely just need to find their weaknesses and hit that, because we're going to have to work hard to win.
Yep, the Hawks are going to look to sustain some winning in the South, and especially early on this year. And we're starting this season off with the HBCU Classic. So there's going to be matchups against teams like Florida A&M, Alabama A&M, so some great HBCU competition. So Coach Robinson, what does it mean as an HBCU program to get to play in a classic like this against other great softball programs?
Yeah, definitely a connective experience, definitely an opportunity for our student athletes to get the year started off right, bonding with other student athletes that go to HBCUs, learning that culture, learning that experience and the energy that is connected in that environment. And then there's a great opportunity to play the SWAC teams, to get an experience on how they play and bring it into the MEAC and make sure we can keep those competition, that energy going.
Yeah, there's some good energy on the team as well. And one thing that's really exciting is that there are new players, there are also some returning players, and there are tons of players that are going to make an impact this year for UMES softball. We, of course, know Jaycee is going to be one of those players. But, Coach, who are some of the other names that have really made an impact and you're expecting to have a big season here in 2025?
With our returners, Nola Mountain, Mackenzie Abilene, Paige Perkins, they're going to bring a lot of leadership. Definitely looking for them to step into leadership roles to guide new student athletes here. We have some standout transfers in our outfield. Sky Landis, Dania Ojeda, infield-wise, to kind of supplement Araceli Manzo at first base, Clark Calvin at second, Lola Meyer, but we're just going to keep the ground running and push, and I really want to shine a light on all of our student athletes that are in our program to make sure they get opportunities to show who they are.
Yeah, one takeaway I had from what you said, Coach Robinson, was the leadership aspect. And now for you, Jaycee, you get to be a leader. You're now not a sophomore, not a freshman, not an underclassman anymore. You're now a junior. So how have you seen your role as a leader change going into this season?
Definitely with the newcomers, a lot of them are freshmen, so they need a lot of help adjusting to college, to all the traveling, missing classes. So they know that I'm always there for them to talk about life academically or athletically. They're all great people, and they all bring something different to the team. So it's just amazing to have a program that comes together and works together to become friends and on and off the field.
Yeah, Jaycee, I'm excited to see that synergy continue to grow on the team as the season goes on. And then to end this interview, once again, appreciate both of you guys for taking the time to come in and talk a little bit about UMES softball. But what is one final message that the both of you have for the fans and for all the people following UMES softball about this team coming up in 2025?
All right. I just want us, all fans to know and supporters, that we're going to try to put the best brand of softball that we can and keep building, not just as the HBCU program, but definitely open everybody's eyes to, UMES as a whole softball program, and that we're going to play all different types of softball and challenge them every time we play.
I think there's going to be a lot of winning this year, hopefully. Yeah, I'm excited to see us come together and play as one and hopefully come out and show other people what they don't think we can do.
Awesome. So getting to prove some people wrong. So here you go. You got Jaycee Holt, MEAC preseason outfielder, and, of course, Coach Aaron Robinson with UMES softball. Make sure to follow them, of course, on social media, UMES Hawk Softball. Thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate your time.
Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. My name is Alan Potts, and I am joined by Jordan Conway to recap some recent results for the indoor track and field.
It was a busy weekend for indoor track team as the Hawks competed in Massachusetts at Boston University Classic and Harvard University Invitational.
Let's start with the women's team. The UMES women had a weekend highlighted by sprinter Alyssa Diet's win for the women's 200-meter open dash with a time of 24.87 seconds at the Boston University Invitational.
On top of that, Alyssa also finished 6th place in the 60-meter. Kamoria Chance placed 2nd in the 60-meter and 3rd in the 200-meter. Chloe Lucas achieved 6th place finish in the 500-meter, and Janiyah Porcine finished top 5 in the triple jump.
Some solid results from women's indoor track. Now turning over to the men's side. The Hawks took home 4 first-place finishes throughout the weekend. Malachi Akins grabbed his 2nd consecutive win for the men's triple jump. Nashawn McKinney-Spears won men's long jump at Boston University, while Nathan Wade recorded his 2nd win of the season at Harvard with first-place long jump finish. Lastly, Tyrese Golston won the men's 60-meter open dash at Boston University, finishing under 7 seconds. Talk about blazing speed.
Not to mention, the Hawks also added 11 other top 5 placements. Talk about solid showing of Coach Charlene Wood Lee's squad.
The Hawks will continue their strong run at the Betty S. Rogers Invitational in Virginia Beach before heading to Clemson, South Carolina for Tiger Paw Invitational.
To see the results from all UMES track meets, visit UMESHawksports.com.
Now, moving on to bowling, the Hawks faced some serious competition at the Northeast Classic.
The Hawks were short-handed as they only had 5 bowlers available, making it difficult for the 18th-ranked Hawks to excel in the tournament. After taking some losses early in the Invitational, the Hawks did close out the final. They stay strong with Aaliyah Friend posting a team-high score of 235, finishing top 100 and 287 bowlers.
There are definitely some lessons learned, as Coach Ronald Sims stated. The team continued to fight, stay together, and continue to communicate and give it their all. We're thankful that we finally pulled our last match and walked out with a victory. Now we can go back home, regroup, and get ready for our next tournament.
Speaking of that next tournament, that will take place at the James Brown Invitational in Fort Meade, Maryland.
For more updates on Hawk Bowling, visit UMES Women's Bowling page on umeshawksports.com. When we come back, we will have a preview of UMES Hawk Baseball on Hawk Talk.
As a top 10 public HBCU, the University of Maryland Eastern Shore has been creating opportunity for nearly 140 years. Opportunity to get an affordable, top-level education. An opportunity to be part of a family that celebrates you for who you are. First-generation college students, grandchildren of alumni, athletes, farmers, scientists, artists. We're holding open the door at University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk Previews. I'm your host, Sedric Granger, and with spring on the horizon, it's time to play ball. Hawk Baseball returns to the diamond with the goal of making their second NEC tournament appearance in 3 seasons. And who better to preview the season with than the graduate student outfielder Jason Brown and head coach Danny Acosta. Thank you for joining me today. How are you both doing?
Good, doing good. Thank you, Sedric, for having us here.
Of course.
Doing very well.
Good. I'm glad to have you guys here. It's been great following along with the team, dating back all the way to fall now and seeing how you guys have progressed up to this point. So we're excited to take some time to preview the season a little bit and ask you all some questions about the squad going into it. So, Danny, first question I have for you is just a little bit about the culture of the team. You have a lot of newcomers coming in, also a lot of transfers coming in. So I want to ask you a little bit about the culture of the team.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have practically overhauled the entire roster. So we have a lot of guys from different places, including the international arena. So the culture has been, mixing very well. I think, on my experience, it's one of the unique things that, we have achieved a great culture so quickly. It is good to see. It's good to see, and it is very conducive to great work.
Yeah, I mean, all throughout practices that I've gotten to see, and then also team bonding activities such as the volunteer events they did and the walk to end Alzheimer's, as well as We Build You Play, setting up the volleyball courts. It's been great seeing different combinations of guys, like meeting each other, greeting each other, connecting, sometimes over language as well. We have different guys speaking Spanish to each other, different guys speaking English, like back and forth. I think it's really cool to see that combo.
It is, like as you say, it's very fascinating to see, how these guys have been able to mix in and create sort of a brotherhood. And, as you mentioned, and those activities have helped us, not only give the community, but give to ourselves, because give us the opportunity to interact, more outside of the baseball arena and academic arena.
And speaking of adding guys to the mix, you added a couple new coaches this year. Of course, we got former Delmarva Shorebird J.D. Mundy, who's coming in to help out with the staff, and then also Austin Hogue, and he paired with the return of Cole Doherty, who was the pitching coach from last year, returning into this year. So I want to ask you, what did those coaches bring to the program in your eyes, Danny?
Sure. I mean, Mundy, obviously, the professional experience is a great deal for us in baseball. Have that, level of expertise, on the hitting side of things, that brings a lot. In addition, that he was a Division I player and a Division I coach prior to coming here. Austin Hogue comes all the way from Oregon. He was the head coach for a few years on that side of the country, and so that's going to make a big impact, on our community within the baseball program. His experience will help me, see other things, that sometimes we need help with. And Coach Doherty, he's He's a word hog. I mean, he work. You know, I love the man. He's always on the phone, you know, hitting the recruiting trail. It's fascinating. He's has grown a lot as a pitching coach, and I believe he's the right man for the job.
And all of you have been putting in so much great work throughout the entire year at being able to recruit. I've seen you all traveling to all different parts of the United States, even outside the United States as well. So it's really, really impressive. Now moving to you, Jason, one thing that was really cool was getting to see your leadership abilities at the Maroon and Gray World Series. So for those who don't know, Maroon and Gray World Series is the fall ball for UMES baseball. The team splits up into two. There's a whole draft and everything. And then there were two players on the team that got to be managers, and one of them was Jason Brown. So JB, just talk to me a little bit about your experience getting to manage the Maroon side.
It was pretty fun, honestly. I mean, first and foremost, it's a privilege and it's an honor to be one of the captains for the team and everything. Because, I mean, that shows that the coaching staff has trust in you and everything. And also that the players look at you as a role model and a leader. So, I mean, I can do whatever I got to do to uplift everybody so we can get on the same page, so we can compete at all levels.
Yeah, and it's great to see you excel at that leadership side, because during your preseason survey, when I asked what was your favorite part about being a baseball player, you talked about the opportunity to be good at everything.
Yes.
And you get to excel at leadership. You got to excel at many different areas throughout your career. But I want to ask you, so starting from when you were an Under Armour All-American in high school to where you're at now as a graduate student at UMES, how have you seen yourself grow well-rounded, Jason?
Definitely, I have seen myself grow. Because, I mean, obviously being in high school, I mean, I still had a lot of maturing to do. So now that I'm here at the college level, I kind of reached or surpassed that maturity level, but I still have maturity to accomplish at the same time.
Yeah, and do you have a goal specifically for this season in mind of what you want to accomplish with this final year?
I don't have any personal goals. I don't like setting personal goals, despite having the season that we had last year. So I want to focus on the team more. So let's win games.
I like that. No better way to focus on the team more than getting to be a manager and getting to be a leader of the squad. Great answer. And then back to you, Coach Acosta. One thing that I want to hear about is the impact players. So there's so many players. Of course, JB is going to make a big impact in the outfield. But who are some other names that the fans should know going into this year?
Yeah, well, I like to highlight JB. He's one of our most, unique player, because he brings a combination of speed and power. He's got a good arm, so he's a high defensive player. Hopefully this year he can put it together on the offensive side and just give us the complete package. But we have high expectation for him. Then moving on to other guys, John Stepner coming from the West Coast as a transfer pitcher. We got great hopes on him. He's got good velocity, good command of his pitches. I think he's going to attack the strike zone pretty well. And then we added from Puerto Rico, even though he's coming from from another school as a transfer student, Diego Aponte. At first base his bat has been talking since he came here in the fall. So he's putting the ball in play and hitting the ball hard with power. So we're hopeful of him. I jokingly told him that we need about 18 home runs out of his bat. So, and he said he was going to give us more. So hopefully that is the case. But the entire roster is got a great mixture of good caliber players. So it's just a matter of everybody just starting to click in and play together as we are projecting, and see where it takes us.
Yeah, it's exciting to see all the lineup combinations that are there and seeing some of the new players and new faces for this upcoming season get to really work in as the schedule starts. And speaking of that schedule, we looked at it. There's some really exciting games that are coming up. One of the ones that stands out is the matchup against Bethune-Cookman. It's an HBCU showdown 4-game series at Jackie Robinson Ballpark in Florida. And if you don't know, that's the home of the Daytona Tortugas, which is the Cincinnati Reds affiliate, but it's also the first professional ballpark that Jackie Robinson played at in his professional career, or at least on the Major League Baseball side. So I want to ask you, Jason, what does it mean to be able to play a 4-game series at the same place that the great Jackie Robinson started off his professional career in MLB?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you're talking about is Jackie Robinson. Like, not even many people get the opportunity to play at that stadium. So it's like when you ask me, I think of it as an opportunity to just do what you got to do and just play your ball. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to be exceptional, a great experience all around. And, Coach, I also want you to just talk a little bit about that game. I think it's going to be a really exciting season as well. Some other games that maybe stand out to you.
Well, to me, it's kind of going back home as I kind of started my collegiate career down at the Jackie Robinson with Bethune-Cookman as a volunteer back in the days. Then I worked with the Cubs when they were there for 3 years. So going back at the Jackie is a treat. You know, I have many friends and family that are around that area, so they're going to definitely visit us when we're there. Cookman is going to be a great opponent. They have a great ball club. Their pitching is a standout pitching, so we just got to go to work and do what we have to do, and then take 1, 2, or 4 games. You know, so that's the mission. But yeah, you know, we start with VMI next week. I think that's going to be a tough opponent. You know, they're a well-rounded team as well. I hear that they like the small ball, so we're preparing for it. And I mean, the entire season is we're going to take it one series at a time, 1 game at a time, 1 inning at a time, and I think that should be our mission to accomplish great things.
Yeah, and once again, UMES Hawk baseball, they start off the season on Valentine's Day against VMI, and then of course an exciting schedule in Northeast Conference play. Delaware State, a big home series coming up this year. Matchups against Norfolk State as well. So it should be an exciting schedule for UMES baseball. Now, I got one final question for the both of you to close things out. I just want to ask about what is the last message or a message you have for all fans and all supporters of UMES baseball about what to expect from the team in 2025.
I'd like JV to start with that one. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm going to just keep it short. To all the people that's been supporting us and that's been sticking to our side, like from the darkest times from last season, like we appreciate you guys and continue to be by our side, and to everybody who hasn't been on our side, once you start seeing us winning games and we start doing good things, just stay over on the side you were at.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I want, you know, the people just to not focus on what happened last year. Everybody has to move on, and I think these guys have worked hard to put that behind us, and these guys are fantastic students. Our GPA was raised to 343 as a team, and I told them, you know, they already set the bar. It has to be higher or stay the same. But yeah, just to look at us for the entire picture and not for one thing only. We're moving forward, and we're gonna put a good show this year.
Yeah, Hawk baseball moving forward into 2025. You just got to hear from head coach Janiyah Acosta as well as Jason Brown, outfielder for the UMES Hawks. And make sure to follow UMES Baseball, UMES Hawk Base on Instagram, Twitter, and of course, follow us on Facebook as well as a UMES Hawk Sports page. But thank you again, both of you, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Welcome to our final segment of Hawk Talk, your show about all things Hawk athletics. My name is RJ Tull, and I am joined by Alan Potts for the final segment on Hawk men's basketball.
It was great to be back at the game against Coppin State as the students really showed out for the game.
There definitely was a great crowd for the women's and men's basketball games on January 3rd, Alan.
Yeah.
Despite ultimately falling to Coppin State, it was a close game throughout, and UMES made some dynamic plays that had the crowd energy going. In his 16-point performance, KC Shaw had a driving dunk in the second half, which was one of the best highlights of the night. In addition, Chris Flippin also was an effective scorer for the Hawks, generating 14 points, including an epic dunk that had people in the crowd in awe.
Despite the big moments, the Hawks have struggled to find their rhythm during the conference play, as they still are looking for a #1 win in the league play. RJ, what is an area that UMES can improve on to get over that hump and to get their first victory?
Well, Allen, in the Hawks' 62-57 loss against Coppin State, the Hawks struggled on the free throw line as they missed 8 of their 16 free throws. After the game, Coach Hill said free throws proved to be a weakness for the team tonight. We were at 50% from the line, and we have to be better in that area to win close games. If the Hawks can improve that area, it will give Maryland Eastern Shore a higher chance to win close games in the future.
The good news is, for the Hawks, they will stay at home for their next game against Howard University on January 17th. UMES is 4-3 at home this season.
To keep up with Hawk basketball, make sure to follow UMES men's basketball on Twitter and Instagram. You also can keep up with Hawk sports by subscribing to our UMES Hawk Athletics YouTube page. With that said, this brings us to the end of our February episode of Hawk Talk. We look forward to talking to you next month, where we will continue to talk about the end of each winter sport and the start of the spring sports here in Princess Anne. Have a great rest of your day. Hawk Pride
worldwide.
Yeah.